Devilish possession. As soon as Jesus got out of the boat, a man possessed by an unclean spirit ran out to meet him from a nearby cemetery. This man lived in the tombs, and not even a chain could bind him anymore. For he repeatedly broke the chains and fetters in which he was shackled, and no one had the strength to subdue him. All day and night he stayed in the tombs and in the mountains, shouting and hurting himself with stones. When he saw Jesus in the distance, he ran and fell on his face before him. At the same time he shouted loudly, "What do you want from me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Swear to me by God that you will not torment me." For Jesus had commanded him beforehand, "Unclean spirit, come out of this man." He also asked him a question, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he answered, "because there are many of us." After these words, he began to ask Jesus earnestly that he would not drive them out of the country. A large herd of pigs was grazing nearby, at the foot of the mountain. The spirits asked him, "Let us go into these pigs so that we can enter them." And he allowed them, so after leaving the man, the unclean spirits entered the pigs. Then the almost 2,000-strong herd let themselves down the steep slope towards the lake and plunged into the water. Mark chapter 5 verses 2-3. There was a time in the history of the world when it was firmly believed that man's illnesses were the responsibility of his sinful behavior, natural disasters were the responsibility of an angry or bored deity, and mental illnesses were the responsibility of demons and devils or evil spirits. In the above story, written down at a time of widespread belief in superstition, the anonymous author tells a story that allegedly happened decades before it was written down. In the story, the itinerant miracle worker Jesus casts out unclean spirits from a man, who then possesses a herd of innocent pigs, who following the possession, commit collective suicide by jumping off a cliff. Here, I would like to present the story of the reality behind such possessions. This event took place in England in the 21st century. This story was described by forensic psychiatrist Richard Taylor in his book, The Mind of the Murderer. The protagonist of the story is Grace Kalinda, a deeply believing Christian woman, a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, who is seen by her fellow believers as a very devout person. During an interview with her by a forensic psychiatrist, she recounted what led her to commit the act of infanticide. Grace described her experience as follows.
"I saw them, demons, shortly before my daughter died. They were dark and had eyes, but they didn't resemble people. I saw them penetrating my children. I panicked. I tried to chase the demons away by beating the children with my hands. I hit them on their heads, massaged their whole bodies. The spirit advised me to do so. He was the one who told me to chase the demons away."
The woman at one point came to believe that performing an exorcism would be the way to get rid of the evil spirits. The exorcism was to cause Grace to turn the child's eyes red. So she beat her child until his eyes changed color. The mother then recognized that the devil had come out of her daughter. The woman went on to explain that the spirit had been in her head the whole time, telling her what to do, and that she had not been able to escape from it. One witness testified that prior to the murder, Grace at times spoke in her own language. The woman was from Uganda. When the police arrested her, after being placed in the police van, Grace was smiling strangely and rocking back and forth while pressing a Bible to her chest. Her mental state improved significantly after a few months, after she was put on antipsychotic medication. The medical diagnosis was as follows: postpartum psychosis with religious delusions, delusions of spirit possession, and the delusional belief that demons can be chased away using violence. The woman was eventually sent to forced indefinite treatment in a psychiatric hospital. In this fascinating book, the author goes on to describe, among other things, the case of a parent who murdered her child and disemboweled it in order to chase away demons. How did Grace Kalinda know that her children were possessed by demons? Because she deeply believed it. Grace saw supernatural reality and supernatural beings as something real, existing. The whole madness of the Abrahamic religions takes its origin from the story of Abraham, who after hearing voices in his head, decided to sacrifice his son. Apparently, for religious people, voices in the head are a normal thing. Yahwistic religions, however, are not unique when it comes to their close parallels with mental disorders. If one believes in reality and supernatural entities, if one performs any rituals and claims to have made contact with, for example, a demon in the course of these rituals, then be on guard and feel warned by Grace Kalinder's story. The self-aware Satanist, however, will not allow some delusion or hallucination to take control of his mind. This is the domain of Christians.